Welcome back, friends. This is Carrie Konyha at HolisticPsychic.com. Today we're going to talk about Hooponopono. Hooponopono is a practice that I very briefly mentioned in another video that I recently uploaded around how to do shadow work in your dream time. So in this video, I'm going to elaborate a little bit on specifically how to do the practice so that you can integrate it as a part of your own healing journey. So I'm not going to spend a lot of time going into the whole history of Hooponopono and all of that, because this is something that you can do on your own, and I do encourage you to do that. But I will say that Hooponopono is an ancient shamanic practice that comes from the Hawaiian traditions of shamanism that has experienced a little bit of a resurgence or a revitalization over the past 100 years. More and more people are learning about it and utilizing it within different healing arts modalities. This is a practice that is very effective in healing the shadow side, but it's also effective in doing inner child healing and healing toxic relationship dynamics as well. This is a practice that I work with a lot within my own life for my own healing journey, and it's something that I work with my own clientele as well. I'm going to just guide you through some ways that you can work with the practice after I describe the practice, and at the end of the video I'm going to share a Hooponopono prayer that you can do for self-healing. So the word Hooponopono roughly translates to mean to realign, to harmonize, to correct. And when we practice Hooponopono, we are bringing ourselves back into alignment. The idea around using this as a healing modality is connected to the fact that each of us are always contributing to the collective. So we're taking responsibility for healing our own wounds with the awareness that as we heal our own wounds, we're in turn supporting that specific wound and being healed within the collective. Now, the practice is simple, it's easy, it's something that anybody can do pretty much at any time of the day silently within yourself. However, it's best to do it when you have a little bit of time for self-reflection. So the practice involves saying 4 key phrases, which are: I love you, I'm sorry, please forgive me, and thank you. I love you, I'm sorry, please forgive me, and thank you. Now, the way that we work with this specifically for healing the shadow starts with being aware and noticing when triggers are arising within you. Again, a trigger is something that brings you into anything other than a state of internal harmony. So if you're having a conversation with somebody and you notice that you're having some type of turbulent energy being triggered within you, this is in effect your shadow side speaking to you about a wound that hasn't been healed or integrated yet. And this Hooponopono practice is a modality that will enable you to bring it into healing. So anytime you have a trigger, let's say you have some anxiety being triggered. So you want to sit with that anxiety, you want to feel the feeling of the anxiety, you want to become present with the feeling, realizing that this is bubbling up from your shadow self so it can be healed, and then you're going to speak to that aspect of yourself. You can even place your hands over your heart as you're speaking this to yourself, just to really deepen the connection. Now, the other thing that I want to say about this before we get into it is it's not just about saying the words, it's feeling the feelings that come with the words and noticing the awarenesses that rise up as you're working through this modality with yourself. So the first thing that you're going to do is, if you want to place your hands on your heart, you can. And you're going to say to yourself, that wounded part of you, the shadow side of you that's coming up, you're going to say, I love you. Feel the feeling of self-love that arises within you when you can really be present with yourself and say, I love you. And pay attention to what arises within you. So it could be something like you're saying, I love you. and acknowledging, I'm realizing that this is an aspect of myself that I have been rejecting, disowning, denying, not paying attention to. But in this moment, I'm recognizing it and I'm embracing it lovingly as a part of who I am. The next thing you're going to do is you're going to say, I'm sorry. So when you say, I'm sorry, this is not meant to insinuate that you've done something wrong. It's just a phrase that acknowledges that you're taking responsibility for your healing journey. You're taking responsibility for being the person who has shoved this aspect of this wound down. So it might look like, I'm sorry. I'm sorry that I've ignored you for so long. I'm sorry that I've made you feel unloved by rejecting this part of who I am. And as you're saying these first two phrases, I love you, I'm sorry, when you can really drop into the feeling and the awarenesses that arise, in and of itself, you're going to start feeling a shift that feels like sort of like a blooming, an awakening, and an integration that's already beginning to happen. The next phrase is, please forgive me. Please forgive me on not understanding how to heal this aspect of myself until now. Please forgive me for rejecting and denying you. Please forgive me for judging this part of myself as being wrong. Whatever it is that comes up, I'm just saying some like basic things that might come up, but you want to pay attention to exactly what arises within you and speak to that aspect. And then the thank you at the end. You're giving thanks to the trigger that's coming up, rising up from your shadow side to be healed. You're thanking it for presenting itself because it's giving you an opportunity for healing, awareness, and growth. Now you can do this within a few minutes as things are arising throughout your day, if you just give yourself a few minute little break or time out. But you can do deeper practices of this that could involve journaling as well, which will enable you to connect with whatever triggers are coming up on deeper levels. And that's basically it. Now, parts of our shadow sides are also connected to our inner child. I will be doing videos in the future around inner child work specifically, but for now, this is a modality that you can integrate and work within inner child work as well if you're already on that journey. I'm going to leave you with this Hooponopono prayer for self-forgiveness. You can work with this prayer to deepen your practice with healing the shadow self or healing the inner child. So before you do the prayer, you want to take some time to connect with the divine in whatever ways work for you. You want to connect with your heart center and speak the prayer from your heart with feeling. You can say it out loud if you want to, but honestly, to me, it feels like saying it silently within yourself, within your heart, is going to give you a deeper and more enriching experience. With this prayer, there's a longer version and a shorter version. And what you want to do is first silently recite the long version within yourself, and then repeat the short version over and over until you can really feel a shift that feels like healing and integration. The prayer itself uses the word God, but you can interchange that with spirit, universe, whatever word you resonate with. I'm going to go ahead and use the word God here, but if you're not comfortable with that, use whatever word that you are comfortable with in its place. And I'm going to go ahead and read the prayer to you now. It starts like this. I love myself. I love myself because of who I really am, a perfect and holy child of God. I'm sorry. I'm sorry for forgetting my true identity and judging myself as being capable of being unforgivable, unworthy, guilty, or ashamed. I forgive myself. I forgive myself for having projected my unhealed wounds and limiting beliefs onto my own soul and others, thus creating challenges. I forgive myself for allowing my soul and others to bear my unhealed wounds and issues. Thank you. Thank you for mirroring to me that which needed to be recognized, accepted, surrendered, and refilled with the presence of truth, the truth of who I am, a beloved child of God. And I now stand forgiven. I also stand healed and in oneness with the Creator. Amen. And then the short version is, I love you, I'm sorry, please forgive me, thank you. I love you, I'm sorry, please forgive me, and thank you. I love you, I'm sorry, please forgive me, and thank you. I invite you to work with this within your own healing journey and experience the amazing results for yourself. Blessings and namaste, my friends. I'll see you in the next video.